Welcome to the podcast, first podcast of the channel. I'm glad you're all here. Much awaited podcast. My name is OMS, aka Orthodox Meme Squad. Live in the flesh. We're gonna talk with some friends of mine. They're all gonna introduce themselves. So Milos, go ahead.
What's up, guys? I'm Milos. I'm the longest running mod on the OMS Discord server. I'm 25 years old. I was born into Orthodoxy. And we all met on the OMS Discord server. So I'm giving up to the next guy, Yogurt.
Hi, I'm Yogurt, or you can call me Bryce, whichever. I am an Orthodox catechumen from Texas, and I've been in the church about a year now. I met all these guys through OMS, and yeah, I'm 24. Okay, Carl.
Hi guys, what's up? My name is Carl, as I'm known online. I have a real name, which is Haiti. I don't mind revealing that. And I was actually watching some YouTube videos about, like Orthodox music, and then I found OMS's channel. I joined his server, and the rest is history. Your turn, Sky.
Okay, hey guys, my name is Sky. Wow, it's crazy to say. I just got baptized yesterday. I was gonna say I'm an Orthodox catechumen like Bryce here, but I got baptized yesterday. So technically now I'm an Orthodox Christian. I live in I'm from Florida. So yeah, and I met all of these guys, same place. I stumbled across OMS's channel, saw that he had a Discord server, joined it, and then yeah, I met all these cool gentlemen that helped me with my journey. So yeah.
Thank you. I think I failed to introduce myself properly first. I'm 26. A lot of people don't know my age, but I'm 26. I'm not a 13-year-old shit poster. So yeah, I live in Holland, unfortunately, but I'm Greek. I'm Greek myself, so I'm Greek Orthodox. And I was born into the faith as a cradle. So I'm not a convert. A lot of people think I'm a Protestant convert, but I was born into the faith. So,
Based.
indeed, we met each other through Discord, guys. The
Yeah.
OMS Discord, the best Discord server on this course.
Link in the description.
Link will be in the description. Join it. Follow the rules, and you'll be okay. We got some great mods.
Mhm.
What else?
Yeah, it's definitely the best Discord server I'm in. And I'm in 2 exactly.
50, huh?
Yeah, it has a strong community, as obviously we're doing this, but compared to a lot of the servers, it's a lot more, it touches on the community aspect of Orthodoxy, I think, which a lot of people miss, or servers miss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely a great place. I met these guys. I'm forever grateful. I wasn't very experienced with Discord before I made mine, but I'm glad I did, and you're all welcome there. Thank you for subscribing, by the way, without even one video. So I really appreciate that. The guys probably as well. We're not gonna be the same people in every podcast because we're in different time zones, as you know. Carl is from Australia. I'm from Europe. Um, Bryce is from Texas. It's gonna be difficult, but we always make sure to have at least 3 people in there. The first podcast is not gonna be very um, orthodoxy in depth focused, if you know what I mean. If you know what I'm getting at. But we'll try to make the next ones talk more about orthodoxy, but in a serious or unserious serious way.
Yeah.
So, orthodoxy. What does it mean to you? That's why we're here. Or are we gonna talk about why we
I
started this podcast first? I think that's
Yeah.
what we're doing.
Why we started the
Yeah, let's do
podcast
that
first
first.
before we jump into like the most
I
deepest
apologize. You know,
deepest thing.
I'm new to this whole face cam YouTube thing. I make memes, that's all. So I'm sorry. Yeah, why did we start the podcast? So, as you know, in some of my videos, I put in certain segments from other people's podcasts that say weird stuff about Christianity. So I was thinking, like, there's a lot of these podcasts that are just degenerate, very degenerate. Mostly popular ones like Logan Paul's, H3H3. Of course, there are some good ones, but not really orthodoxy focused. So I was thinking, why not start one? You know, we'll start small, but I think there is really a need for an Orthodox podcast. So that's why I thought, let's start one. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if you guys like it. And that's why I started it. We started it, sorry. Of course. Anyone want to
man.
add to that?
Yeah,
I want. You go first.
I would like
What is your-
to put on some deep lore how it got started.
Sure, go ahead. Keep
So I think when I first suggested you doing a podcast was probably in August or so, or like everybody of you.
Yeah, it was in August.
And it took us a lot of attempts. I made a lot of mistakes with recordings. I still do. I'm a big boomer with technology. And
Old man.
we actually did like kind of 2 recordings. They weren't the best, but we were like, yeah, we're just gonna practice and practice.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably release some funny outtakes of that one in the future. Probably as some funny clips or YouTube shorts. And I'm really glad we finally started doing that because I've been suggesting to OMS to do a second channel for almost half a year.
Yep, that's very true. He came with the idea. I was never very open to second channel because I didn't know what to put on there. But I think this is a good idea. What do you think, Carl? Did you want to say something?
I was just going to say why I decided to join. Is elaborate on that. So Milos was a good friend of mine, and he said he was starting a podcast, and I liked his idea because he said he wanted to get people from different places who did different things. So I don't think any of us actually does any niche that's related to the other one. For example, I'm a music composer in my free time, and and Milos does something completely different. OMS makes funny videos. So basically, we got a bunch of people that are living orthodoxy and put them all in one podcast. That's I think what's really good about this. And if you look up Orthodox podcasts on YouTube, it's not actually very common. It's niche. So kudos for Milos for that. But I was wondering, why did you want to join Yogurt in the Sky? What did you see in the podcast?
I listen to a lot of podcasts, not necessarily Orthodox related, but I do a couple, but they're more. They feel like more lectures, like rather than podcasts, and it's not really, that's not always what I want. And something with, a more laid back community aspect, I think that's a great idea. I enjoy just conversing with y'all and conversing with people kind of directed at the faith. So that was kind of, that was the motivator for me. When Milos came up with the idea, I was very excited about it, but it was kind of hard to schedule everything. I had work, I had, different stuff comes up, and sometimes it's not really excuse, but I'm excited we all got here today and that we're able to record this. How about you, Sky?
There we go. I was just asked back in August. They're like, "Hey, you want to make a podcast with Milos?" By Milos, I was asked by him. And then there was like, "Oh yeah, we'll do it like this. We'll have 3 people in or 4 people in, and we'll just exchange people and all that." And I was just like, "Okay." And ever since then, I've actually just been held against my will. I don't want to be in hell. No. But yeah, I actually, well, yeah, that's exactly how it happened. And I figured I have enough free time on my hands, and I would love to talk about this. It's a great topic that interests me. It interested me enough to convert to Orthodoxy. So I mean, I'd like to talk about it, and yeah.
Yeah, so we have 2 converts in here, if I'm right. And 3 cradles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Awesome.
well, technically, yeah,
Catechumen, but he will be.
convert. Yeah, he will be a
Oh.
convert.
It's a very diverse bunch of people, which is pretty interesting.
Mm.
What unifies us is our love for Christ, our love for Orthodoxy. So expect some good footage in the future. I think we're gonna cover a different subject every single episode that we can focus on. We'll talk about more broader things as well as the importance of masculinity and all kind of stuff like that because we're all men, as you can see. Um, so what else? Do you have any other ideas for future podcasts, Milos? Because you're the mastermind.
Yeah, but before that, I wanted to add on something about the podcast. Another reason why I think it's great that we're doing this, and why my initial thought was of doing the podcast, is because we have so many diverse people in the Discord server. And I asked the guys who I talk to the most, and like everybody is like different ethnicity from us. Everybody is living in a different country or different state. Like Carl Hadi, for example, he's Lebanese in Australia. Then we've got Sky, he's half South African in Florida. Then we've got Yogurt in Texas. Demos OMS in the Netherlands, representing the Greeks who are living in the diaspora. So it's so diverse. I wanted to put in a smart word, you know.
Yeah.
Nobody has to know I'm an idiot from the get-go. Already told them
Also, aren't we
I
all
already
like,
let it slip.
we're all different jurisdictions, which also come with like their own like unique traditions and stuff. Like I'm personally under Antioch, right? I don't know if
I'm,
any.
I'm on the Antioch.
Yeah.
I'm on the Antioch.
Based.
All right. So, but
Best
we have very diverse. Like I'm Greek Orthodox, Milos Serbian, obviously. You guys Antioch. OCA?
Not OCA. Go Arch.
Go Arch,
Oh,
Greek
oh,
Orthodox Church in America. Yeah. So it's I like it because we have like the Byzantine style and then we have the Slavic style from Milos. So
Yeah.
it's nice.
But we're all brothers, so it doesn't really matter. By the way, if I cough, my apologies. I'm a bit sick, so I'll try and mute myself when I need to cough, but sometimes it comes.
It's okay. I had to deal with that last week. I was just sick the whole entire.
Yeah, and you know it's the time of the year. By the way, if you guys have any ideas or subjects that we want to cover in the future, you can post them in the comments. So would be much appreciated. Or tips for the podcast. Any feedback is welcome. Right, guys?
Right, sounds
Exactly.
good.
Yes.
We'll try to have guests on as well. So we're
Mm-hmm.
not always the same people. We have a few interesting people in the Discord. We'll ask them if they want to join. All people with different lives, different jobs, different roles. Oh, I hope the same Orthodox way. You know what I mean. So I don't want to be the one that talks the most.
Well, I was just gonna say about the server. I actually really like the whole idea of the server. We get so much criticism for the most silly things, but I think it's the most livable way of orthodoxy. People don't seem to understand that we live in the modern world. We don't live in 1451 at the fall of Constantinople. We live in the 21st century. So what OMS does is he brings the 21st century and orthodoxy, and then, as they should be, combines them. So the criticisms usually are that it's really just revolves around how modern he is, but I think that's a good thing. You've got the ancient tradition and you've got the 21st century. So hopefully he keeps making content like that. I love the music. The music videos, by the way, are the best. How did you make those? Just out of
How did I
curiosity.
make the videos?
The music,
so-
yeah.
I speak quite a few languages, so I have a feeling for languages.
Subtle
So what I
flex.
do, huh?
I said humble flex, like subtle flex.
I mean,
Listen, that's a
gotta-
flex on
hey, now I
Americans,
know-
okay? That's a flex on Americans. I'm just saying.
sorry, European, bilingual. You got a feeling for language. So what I do is I try to find the chants on the internet, SoundCloud, YouTube, whatever, and usually I try to look up the chants in their language. So I know there are a few chants that are very standard in Greek, English, so you just translate them to their language and you find them. So what I do is I listen to them, I compile them together, I think of a crazy scenario like you all see my videos.
Mhm.
Well, not always crazy. Oh, there
Hey,
is.
there he is. There's
We will
Waxy.
introduce him a little later. I'll finish my story. I'll finish my story.
Hey,
I'll compile them together, and
Hello, how are you?
I don't make the Wojaks myself. Unfortunately, I'm not that good of a drawer on the PC.
Yeah.
Shout out to Redwald, by the way. He makes my Wojaks. Very good guy. Very talented.
Based.
He does? I just thought he was there to just make sarcastic comments and
No. He makes stuff as well.
And make like Anglo-Saxon propaganda.
Yeah, and I'll upload the video. What I try to do is I want to try and post almost every single language there is. Unfortunately, there's not Orthodox content for every language.
Not yet.
As you've seen, I've posted some languages that were like non-expected, like Native Alaskan chants.
You could put like Finnish. Did you do a Finnish one as well?
Finnish is more like it makes more sense. But Native Alaskan, for example, it's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
What was the
Only if you know the history, it's like logical, huh?
like? What was the most difficult one to like compile?
The most
Or-
difficult one to compile.
I'm gonna guess Asian Orthodox chants. I'm guessing.
Second, it was definitely, I think, the Portuguese one. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot online, or even the Dutch one, because I used most chants from one single psalter. So
Okay.
it was difficult. A lot of them are difficult, but they do very well. They help people. I hope. So that's my
Yeah.
story. Let's wait until Stranja is set up fully.
Yeah. Strahina, are you set up fully?
He's got his
One
music
sec.
here. Oh,
That
One
could
sec.
be the end.
Speaking of it,
Also now we have a what?
White Sheep's actually another composer. I was just gonna say he makes music as well. So.
Yeah.
He's a jazz musician, and he has frequently concerts.
Awesome.
Sometimes he has concerts until like 3 in the morning.
All right, let's introduce him for me. If he's got his stuff set up.
Yeah, wait 1 sec, guys. I'll be right back. I just want to have the phone in place.
No worries.
Okay, there we
No.
go.
A little bit.
Yeah, let's not spoil too much information about Strahinia yet.
Yeah.
I
Oh man,
will
we already
continue so
spoiled
far.
his name.
Well, it's
Wait.
out there.
I want to ask you guys if some of the videos I made, especially the chants, helped you in some way in your life.
I really like the English Orthodox ones, like the American one, like where it was like English Orthodox chants, but America has blah 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 blah. That was nice. I still go back and listen to those sometimes.
You don't know the title? I'm offended.
I think, but it's like America has reverted from its like degenerate ways or something like that, right?
It's close.
Something like that.
What did you want to say, Yogi?
I wanted to say, yeah, I think listening to them, obviously it expresses the beauty of Orthodoxy. And, I think, I like listening to it, listening to some of the videos, especially like Sky said, the English like ones, like generally. But I remember at the beginning of my inquiring phase of the church, it kind of helped me like stay in place as far as like keeping my mind like focused on wanting to become Orthodox because it's so beautiful and it's so like inspiring to hear this worldwide.
Orthodoxy is beauty, and beauty will
Yeah.
save the world,
I,
as Dostoevsky said.
mhm.
Oh, Sky, yeah, set up.
Yeah, I am.
What? Go ahead.
Kakosi. Christos Serodi.
Vaisili se rodi.
Nice to meet you. Go ahead. Introduce
Yeah,
yourself.
so I should introduce myself. My name is Strahinja. I'm from Serbia, Belgrade. I study and play jazz and improvised music in the Superior Conservatory of Lyon, France. I've been introduced to Orthodoxy as a kid, and I went away from it in my teens. I was not really practicing, and then I started practicing more recently.
I see. Very based. Yeah, this was our next point. What does orthodoxy mean to you? I don't want to start because I've been talking a lot. So
Okay.
let's start with Carl. Go ahead.
Orthodoxy means a lot to me. It's a way of life. So it's something that you continuously do. So it's not like a one moment, oh, I'm Orthodox now. It's continuous. I decide now I want to be Orthodox and I continue every moment to be Orthodox. So it's a continuous crucifixion of yourself, in a sense. Why that matters is because every action I make in the back of my head, I remember my faith because it's so important to me. It's really beautiful how it encompasses all, all faiths, all diasporas, and it's for everyone. So it's not for a specific group of people. It's not just for Easterners or Westerners. It's for the world. That's what Orthodoxy means to me. That's why it's so important.
Exactly. A lot of people think, oh, it's only for Slavs and Greeks and blah blah blah.
Exactly.
No. As I made a video about African Orthodox, it's also for Africans. It's also for Asians. It's also for fat, thin, black, mentally disabled. What doesn't matter. Everyone can join. Christ is for everyone, as Saint Paul said, in different words. Sky, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I guess to me, like converting to it, I can list like what it means to me, like the reasons why. It's like just seeing the history of it, like seeing the how you can trace back the apostolic succession of it, how these traditions can be traced back so far to the apostles and stuff like that. And it's like that meant so much to me to actually have Christ Church, the church given to us by Christ and spread through the apostles on earth, still here. And it's like you can trace back, like every church can trace their thing back to one of the apostles, like can trace their succession back. So it's like for example, Antioch, I believe it's Peter and Paul, St. Peter and Paul. Like I believe Constantinople's Andrew. So it's like everyone can trace back their lineage back to them. So that's the one thing that I love about it.
Apostolic succession. Indeed. Yogurt. Bryce. Sorry.
Yeah. So Orthodoxy. So he continues. So I've been a catechumen, like I said, about a year, not a month. And for me, what really, the history still grabs me, the tradition still, it still kind of hooks me in. But I think the promise of, it being such a transformative, like there's not, I don't know what to compare it to, or it's a transformative way of like thinking, way of living. That's something that I wanted from the beginning. I wanted something to, really take hold of my life and wanted to, you know, shed this, the skin of my like former self. And there's really like no other like place, institution, anything that can compare to the church. And that in the community, the participation with the community really, it keeps me in the church. It keeps me motivated, and I'm very thankful for it.
Thank you, Milos.
For me, the most important part about Orthodox is the more you read about the scripts of the elders, what the church father said, the more you get into it, you truly understand the meaning of why we live, why we are here. And pain, happiness, suffering, everything makes much more sense. And you get a new meaning for it. Some things that I didn't understand as a child, like for example, oh, why is this happening to me? Why is that happening to this person? As more as I got to read the books and the teachings of the fathers, I truly understand what it really means to be an Orthodox Christian.
Orthodoxy
And
is
how
meaning to your life. It's very true.
exactly. Mm. And not only that, it gives you the meaning and the power to overcome the darkest things.
Very true. Strainia, you said you swayed away from Orthodoxy as a teen. I relate to that because I had the same experience. Could you tell me why?
Well, basically, I was not really thinking about, the church or about the importance of being spiritual. I was not thinking about, the importance of faith. And also, I was in a secular family where, religion was not placed, as a very important thing. And so it was just not something that interested me or that was attracting me. I sort of let myself go maybe towards more mainstream things. And I didn't understand the importance, I would say, of practicing actually.
All right, yeah. I had a similar experience. I grew up in a secular family as well, despite being baptized as a kid. Um, we never went to church. My parents never, not even with Christmas or Pascha, never. So we were, in a sense, Christian, but non-denominational, if you know what I mean. We didn't go to church. We were just Christ believers, if you know what I mean. I don't think my dad believes, but my mom does, in a way, even though she has a lot of New Age stuff that influences her, unfortunately. But so I never grew up in an Orthodox household, unfortunately. But yeah, I was more like a kid, like, oh, I don't need these buildings and stained glass and icons to worship Christ. I was more like a Protestant, if you know what I mean. Because I saw people talking about it, and I was like, as a teen, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Did you know the difference between the denominations before? When you
No,
were
not really. I know there were Catholics, Protestants, and Lutherans. That's about it. I knew about Orthodoxy, of course, because it was in my culture. As a Greek, it was still in my culture. But me, I have an insane love for history. So I was as a as a young lad, I went to work in Greece as a tour guide. So I began diving deeper into the history of Greece, mainly because I love my country. I'm a patriot. And what you cannot deny is that Orthodoxy saved Greece many times. So I was like, maybe I need to look better into this faith that I was baptized in. So I was looking at history, I was watching documentaries, I was reading, and I came to the conclusion that this is the Church of Christ. I need to follow everything they say. Everything they say makes sense. And it does. Because it's life. Orthodoxy is life. Orthodoxy is love. It makes sense. It makes totally sense. And from then on, I decided I wanted to commit my life to this faith. And then I started making memes. For a Facebook page. I started out with normal images, normal meme images of Orthodoxy, and then I experimented with a little bit of video. And I was looking at Facebook and I saw, oh, these memes are getting popular, hundreds of shares and blah, blah, blah. And then I decided to make more and more. And now this is going to be OMS lore, but I don't care. I decided to make more videos and more videos, and people were asking me, how can I download these videos? Blah, blah, blah. People haven't heard of Facebook Downloader, but doesn't matter. So I uploaded them on YouTube. That's how I started the channel. I uploaded my videos on YouTube so that people could download what they see on Facebook. I was never the intention of growing big on YouTube, but it blew out of proportion, as we're all here now. And I'm above 50K subs, so I'm very glad I'm here at this point in my life right now. I still study next to YouTube. Unfortunately, YouTube hasn't monetized me, so I cannot live off YouTube, or YouTube, as Americans say. But I still study. I study history, as I just said. I teach a little bit in history as well. I'm not gonna say too much, a little bit dangerous. But yeah, I'm happy. And that's it. Sorry, I rambled.
It's
As you know, we all ramble about Orthodoxy. It's in the description of the channel. So this is
yeah, it's funny. Before I guess it was my second year of college or third year. I most of my life, or I was, I believed in very like a surface level like belief in, there's a God kind of thing, but not really. Like it wasn't until because I do photography. I my biggest hobby is, wildlife photography, and one day
Wait,
I
is that a
was
picture or is that a painting?
no, it's a painting. Yeah, this is just a painting. But I was photographing this lion at a zoo. It was in Austin, and I remember like it looked at me out of like all these people. The way that the zoo was like constructed, it was very like kind of like open. There wasn't a lot of like chains or bars, so it looked like you were there, like in kind of with the animals. But there was a line there, and it was, there was a bunch of people obviously watching the lion, and it looked at me out of all the people, and it kind of hit me. Uh, it kind of hit me during that this thing that's completely like not like human, like outside of like being human, is like it's intentionally looking at me, and it kind of hit me that God or something that's completely beyond what it means to be human could be watching me, and that kind of like snowballed into like where I am today. So I'm very thankful.
Nice.
I was muted. God's work is
Yeah.
beautiful, isn't it?
Hmm.
I have a lot of coughing, so I mute myself. Yeah, interesting stories. Do you have a
Oh,
particular subject that you want to talk about in future podcasts? What do you guys think? I didn't ask you guys.
Yes. One would be that everybody tells their a story about their favorite saint, what that particular saint, for example, did, or just general what like a small short story about his life throughout his life. That would be a pretty fun idea.
Good idea. What we also could
it'd be a good idea.
talk
Hmm.
about now is our patron saints. Right now, who is your patron saint? What do you do? Why is he important? Why is he a saint? If you guys like it, just a suggestion.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
how
sure.
much time we have left.
Let's check when we start recording.
I think we've been going for like 45 minutes.
For about.
Oh, it said 35 on my recording thing, so.
35. All right, we have time. Strania, you can start.
Sure. My patron saint is Sveti George, as we say in Serbian. So Saint George, who killed the dragon. He died a martyr for being a Christian, and he was a soldier, and he's a symbol of the struggle against temptation. And for many people, he represents, the resilience in faith and strong belief. And he's a very, very important saint for Orthodox people, especially in Serbia. He's celebrated twice a year, and he is the patron saint of my father. When I was a kid, I was not celebrating him because I lived separated from my father. I lived with my grandmother on my mother's side, and we were celebrating the Saint Archangel Mikhail, and this was the patron saint of my grandmothers. But now that I'm older and that I celebrate my own patron saint, I took the patron saint of my father, although he is not celebrating.
Nice. Quick information for the viewers who maybe don't know that. So normally every person has their own patron saint, but in Serbian tradition, the whole family celebrates one patron saint, and it's given down from father to son.
Slava, right?
So yeah, and we call it Slava. It can also be translated to like glory, to give glory to that saint on that day and celebrate him. And there are a lot of particular traditions that we do on that day. We have the blessed bread, of course. Then we have some particular food, depending if it's on a fasting day or not. That patron saint. And my patron saint of the family is Saint John the Baptist. And every year I'm very excited for that, especially because the liturgy is very beautiful on that day, because he's a very big important saint in the church.
Of course.
Maybe some viewer, he doesn't know anything about Christianity and thinks who is Saint John the Baptist. He's the one who baptized Christ in the river of Jordan. That's why his name comes from, the Baptist, because he was baptizing.
He wasn't a Baptist Protestant way.
Yeah. That's why I said it
John
like
the
that.
Baptist, not saying John the Catholic. No, I'm kidding. Bad joke. Continue.
Yeah, and every time on that year after the liturgy, finally coming then home and cutting the blessed bread at home again. And when everybody takes a piece of the bread and you start digging in the food, those moments are always magical for me.
Very. Carl,
yeah.
Sorry, I was curious, like Carl's one.
My patron saint is Saint John Chrysostom, and I love his theology. Absolutely, it's just the most beautiful.
That makes so much sense. I'm just saying that makes so much sense.
Yeah,
that makes so much sense.
That's a perfect fit.
The golden tongue.
Could you explain why it's the perfect fit? Just out of curiosity.
Carl's very knowledgeable when it comes to theology, guys. Just so you know, that's why he was saying that.
Yeah, he's probably the most well-versed in theology from us six here.
So if we do a theology podcast, Carl will be here.
Yeah,
that's
the
what I'm
expert.
saying. He's our local expert.
Like, no joke, it's crazy how Carl's brain works. He reads something and he memorizes it instantaneously. He never has to go look it back up. I saw him countless of times explaining stuff about a random topic to people about theology, and he would even cite letters from the 4th century.
Yes.
And you could clearly see he wasn't Googling it because he was continuously typing. Normally you can tell when somebody like just copy paste something. He's always continuously typing while explaining those things. And I'm amazed by his knowledge.
So that was like
Because
something I had when I was a kid. I'd just read the book. That's why I was so good at ones that involve not because maths, I suck at maths. Even though I technically studied engineering, I'm so bad at it. If it involves like words, it's like I see it and it's there. That was really helpful in school, obviously. And I loved history because of that, because I'd read the book and then I'd feel like I just memorized the book. It's not that I had that much of a passion for history specifically, but that's when I began to notice that I had something that others don't, which is just this really photographic memory, which it was weird to discover it in a sense, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I love having it. So.
Of course.
So,
Sky, because you got baptized.
exactly, that's what I want to go.
Well, I'm still kind of learning about my patron saint, only because of the fact that I told my priest to just choose one, and so I found out my patron saint yesterday.
Who is it?
Saint John of Damascus. So I was given Saint John of Damascus, and I know some of the stories about it. I believe he got his hand cut, and then he prayed before he prayed to the Theotokos, and his hand was miraculously put back and
Yep.
healed.
Another good thing about Saint John of Damascus is his writings on Islam.
Yeah.
If you ever want to read that, I advise to, because it's very good. He lived.
What I like most is his the Trinity, how he explains the Trinity. It's
That
really,
too. That
yeah.
too. But he lived during the time of the Islamic
Umayyad Caliphate, I think. Was it them?
Yep.
conquering. So
Yeah.
he knows a lot about it. Well, yogurt.
Mhm.
You don't have one yet, I think. Have
I
you
do
read it?
know mine.
You do know yours. All right.
Hmm. Or it's Saint Dismas, or the Good Thief. He chose me. The earliest I remember of like kind of. So I'm not obviously I'm not taking the Eucharist, but during the Eucharistic prayer, there's there's a line that's like as a I don't. It's probably different in all the different languages, but as a thief, I confess to you, O Lord, remember me in your kingdom.
Yeah.
And a story with him is also during Christ, when the Theotokos, Christ and Joseph were fleeing to Egypt, they were attacked by a band of robbers, and basically Saint Dismas, I believe he paid off paid off the robbers with I forget, it's like 30 or 40 of whatever currency they used, and that's when the Theotokos blessed him, and that's also when he was crucified with Christ, he was he was the first one to enter the kingdom of heaven, and he's also known as the one who stole heaven, but I believe we're stole paradise, but yeah.
Well, that's
Uh,
I believe
nice.
he's,
Yeah, I
I
love that.
believe he's still in paradise. You believe he's still in paradise?
No, he's known as the one who stole paradise, or like because the good thief. My bad.
He was baptized in blood, as we say.
Hmm.
So a lot of people think, oh, he wasn't baptized. Why did he go to heaven? No, that we call that baptized by blood.
There's
Hmm.
also baptism of desire. So there's baptism by blood, baptism of desire, and obviously baptism by water, and they're all completely Orthodox.
What's baptism? What's the other one that you said?
Baptism of desire. It's when you want to join the church, but because of some kind of something completely out of your control, you die then and there, and that's considered baptism of desire. We have a few saints like that. It means you've taken the necessary steps that you can try and join the church. But
so would it be like a catechumen? Like, let's say somebody was a catechumen.
Yeah, and they just died. Or even like there's some instances there's someone wanted to become a catechumen formally and couldn't actually do that, and as they're going to become a catechumen or whatever it is, they died. That's considered baptism of desire.
Mm.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Learn something new every day.
I didn't even know that.
Me neither.
That's why we have Carl here.
Carl?
I mean, God's not trying to send you to hell on a technicality, right?
No.
So you have to remember that. God's a person,
Yeah.
not a system. So
Yeah, and it's not only even with catechumens, it would even be for inquirers
it's not
who would want to convert, but they were stopped by it, even doing the prayer of the catechumens and doing all of that.
Sure.
There were some instances where that happened in history as well.
Yeah, that's correct.
It's pretty cool.
The most famous one I can remember was there was some kind of king who was going to get baptized and then he passed away, like as he was riding his horse there. Like it's not like he's going to hell now, you know?
Yeah.
Right. I guess it's my turn now. My patron saint is Saint Demosthenes. I say that in a Greek way. It's very difficult to spell. I'm not gonna go into details, but in Greece we have a tradition that you will be named after your grandparents. So I was named after my grandpa, who died, God rest his soul, and he basically has his grandpa's name, and that grandpa has his grandpa's name, but he goes all the way back to the saint. They were named after the saint, and the saint lived in what now is Izmir. Back in the day was called Smyrna, the Greek city, nowadays in Turkey. He was a fisherman, and the Turks pressured him to become Muslim. He didn't want to. He wanted to stay Orthodox. He wanted to stay true to Christ. So they basically executed him for it, and that's how he became a martyr. That's basically it. But the name is much easier. The name is from ancient Greece, but as you know, we Greeks go way back.
So do you personally take the name of your patron saint, or is it like a christening name inside? Like, do you take it as in your day-to-day life?
Yes. Of course. But I didn't know about him before I became like really invested into Orthodoxy. I thought I was just like named after my grandpa, and that was it. But it isn't really like that. So I bought an icon of him, and we all good.
Nice.
I actually had never heard of this. That's the first I've heard of him. So I think I'll have to look
There's
him up.
thousands of saints, thousands.
Mm.
Some unknown, some known. And I'm still learning new ones every day. For example, Saint Dismas, Yogurt Saint. A lot of people don't even know the thief on the cross is a saint.
Mhm.
Or Saint Longinus, who
Wasn't he the soldier that speared the spear? Yeah.
he was
Mhm.
the soldier that speared Christ on the cross, and he became Christian. And a lot of people don't even know that. So you can learn every day. Orthodoxy is so rich of history and knowledge.
Hmm.
Read a lifetime of Orthodoxy and still not have read it all.
And that sounds like a challenge to Carl.
I don't think he reads that much as he claims.
Yeah, that's right. I don't. I should probably read more, to be honest with you.
Isn't it some in Australia?
I was actually I was given a book yesterday by my priest that I haven't even. Well, I got it yesterday, and it's Spiritual Counsels, select passages from my life in Christ. It says Father John of I can't pronounce it. Kronstadt. It says Father John of Kronstadt, but I know he's sainted now, so it's
He was
Saint.
probably not glorified. back then.
But yeah, this was it says first published in 1967, so
Mhm.
probably was way before that.
So a caveat I'd point out is that someone doesn't become a saint when they get acknowledged by the church. They were a saint before.
Yeah.
It's just the church acknowledging that. So I just want to point that out. Just
Yeah.
anyone listening.
Of course.
Are you reading anything, Yogurt or Mr. White Sheep?
Yes.
Go ahead, Robert. Sorry.
Oh. Well, I'm reading two things. One's Moby Dick. Getting back on that because I had this big pause. But I'm reading Saint your patron saint, Saint John Chrysostom on marriage and virginity.
That
And-
is my favorite book. I'm sorry.
Is it really? Yeah.
Of all time, of all the stuff he's written, his theology on marriage is my favorite part about him. It's really beautiful and it's really concise and accurate. So if anyone hasn't read that, I recommend it. It's a great book.
Yeah, it's good. To I'm not gonna get into this whole like tangent and stuff, but like I'm just say something about it. Like Brent going from like a secular to like or even really like a heterodox like understanding of marriage to like an Orthodox that's so different and so like enlightening. And I'm not getting married, by the way, and I just want to prepare for
one day. We hope, bro.
Yeah, one day. Yeah.
Yeah, is anyone married here?
No, everybody's single here. That's why we're doing a podcast.
No.
No, but I actually have a book recommendation, but it's all the way back there. Let's see if I can find it. I'm not sure if we can edit it in, but it's The Orthodox Church by Callistos Ware. That was one of the first books given to me, and it goes through the history and everything. I also have this other book that was given that I haven't read yet, but I was told that it's amazing as well, if you have any interest in it. It's called The Law of God, and it's, let's see.
What's the symbol on the front? Could you show us it just so that we can elaborate on what that is?
Oh, this? Oh, well, it's backwards, but yeah, it's the Chiro. Or
You butchered that.
I butchered it, but I don't speak Greek. But is it like key? Yeah.
No,
I'm sure people watching have seen that symbol so many times.
it's the symbol Saint Constantine saw in the sky
Mm-hmm.
before the battle.
Christ conquers.
A lot of people think he saw the cross, but he actually saw this symbol, which represents Christ. Christos in Greek. Alpha Omega refers to the passage in the Bible. I'm the Alpha and the Omega. So this is what Saint Constantine saw in the sky. I think it was before the Battle of the Milvian Bridge.
Yeah, I think it is that
If I'm
one.
mistaken.
And then he put it on all of his soldiers' shields, and he ended up like winning that battle, which made him emperor. Because Rome was in civil war. Pardon?
Where are we at on time?
Oh, 54 minutes.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Maybe we can continue in the next episode where everybody shows their favorite book and maybe tell some favorite part of that book, like a special passage that they really enjoyed reading.
Oh, well, I'll have to find a new favorite book.
We're not so dry usually. It's the first podcast. Usually we're much more chatty and interject each other a lot.
Man.
But because we're kind of introducing ourselves.
Yeah.
Dial that down a bit just so you can get to know us before we ruin our reputations.
Of course. And as we make more videos, we'll get better at it.
I don't know, man. I just found out that I got to learn how to read. Firstly, can't read Greek apparently. Just found out that, or I butchered it. But
anyway, if you watch the whole thing, I salute you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
subscribing.
you.
Expect some more videos of me on the main channel. We're gonna do we'll try to do a weekly podcast here,
Mhm.
and otherwise every 2 weeks. Let's hope. We'll have some guests on. We have some better subjects more that we'll talk about more in depth. So this was the first one. Please have mercy on us.
That's very true.
Please.
Have
Please.
mercy on us in the comments. You can roast me on Discord all you want, whatever. Join the Discord, by the way. Buy the merch.
Yeah.
Link will be in the description for the Discord server.
Oh, speaking of merch, if Yogurt wants to turn around.
Yogurt is wearing my merch.
I don't. Okay.
Okay,
I
just
don't know if
stand
I'll
up. Just stand up and show the. Yeah,
He
he's,
has the
The back.
Bacalaeus one.
Okay, to turn up.
Teleos.
turn around is very difficult for him. Let's see.
There you go. He's a bit older.
Yeah, you know he has back pain. Oh, he just knocked over his glass.
Classic.
It has.
How difficult is it to do this?
All right, everybody. Let's see if we can all get up and turn around easy, quicker than Yogurt.
Eagle. Yeah. The Throne
I can
Eagle.
literally just turn around my whole entire chair.
You can buy it on the merch website. I also have a lot of country flags. I released the Swedish one today. Check it out if you're from Sweden. Thank you very much for listening, watching. We'll catch you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.